You're listening to Strange by Nature, your guide to the strange, weird, unbelievable, and improbable wonders of the natural world.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here today. I am Kirk Mona, and I am joined today by Rachel Ginza and Victoria Thompson. We are all professional naturalists who together have scoured the world for weird and wonderful wonders just to please your mammalian brain's desire for novelty. Isn't that nice? Let's do this.
Well, everybody, welcome back to the show.
Yay!
So good to be here with you this week.
Yeah, happy to have you back.
Yeah. I have a personal story to start off this episode.
Ooh, fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. I was getting ready for bed the other evening when I heard some muffled yelling from the basement.
Oh, no.
Followed
Oh my.
followed by my husband's footsteps pounding up the stairs.
Uh-huh.
And he
Nice. I can picture that so well.
breathlessly told me that he had found a dead mouse in the basement. He was a little hysterical.
And
He has a mouse phobia.
Okay.
Due to some bad experiences as a child, so he was understandably freaked out. I am the one
okay.
who deals with generally mice
Yep.
that make it into our household occasionally. We do live in a
Oh,
120-year-old home, so it's to be
Yep.
expected
Yeah.
that we occasionally get a mouse. It's really not too bad.
I also occasionally get mice, but I have a cat, and that helps.
Alas, I'm allergic.
Mhm.
Otherwise, that would be a great thing to have.
He's 3 for
we
1.
really we haven't had too much. It's like every couple of years or something. I don't know.
Mhm.
Anyway, down I went, appropriately gloved, armed with a plastic bag. The animal that was lying on the floor was indeed mouse size, with a pointy nose. But
Ooh.
as soon as I laid eyes on it, I knew it was not a mouse.
Ooh.
The tail
Yes.
was too short, for one thing.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep,
And
there we go.
It had we're not going where we think you're going, probably.
No.
Oh.
It had velvety mole-like fur.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
It also had barely visible eyes and ears,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
similar to a mole. Maybe this is where you thought I was going.
I think so.
Gone exactly where I thought so far.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Glancing at its front paws, I could tell that it was not a mole,
Yes.
because moles have monstrous, giant digging
Yeah,
front-
diggers.
Yeah. So I scooped it up in the plastic bag. It was not completely dead. It was just like
Oh,
Oh.
gasping slightly. It was,
not great.
Yeah, anyway, so I carried it out to the trash can in the alley, and I was turning over in my mind what it could be. Vole is what I was initially thinking,
Right.
Mhm.
because they are small mouse-like rodents which have shorter tails.
That
The
are
fur
very
did not seem right,
velvety.
however. No, not
Okay.
velvety.
Vole was going to be my first guess.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought you would guess. That was my first guess too. But I thought voles had slightly different fur than that, and kind of blunter noses. This one had a pretty pointy nose.
And that's
Hmm.
that's vole with a V, not mole with an M.
Right, vole with a V.
Right.
As a naturalist, I'm a little embarrassed to say I actually had to do some Googling to figure out that it was not a mouse, not a vole, not a mole, but a northern short-tailed shrew.
There it is.
True. Nice.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yes.
Nice.
And after figuring
So
that out,
real
I thought,
pointy face.
yeah, it had a pointy face and really
Yeah.
tiny eyes and actually no really visible ears. So I thought, of course, it's a shrew. And then I realized I don't think I've ever actually seen a shrew in person before.
I'm not gonna lie. I
Right.
think I misidentified this as a vole, or I said it was a shrew,
Yeah.
and I'm misremembering it because I have also found one dead at work. So
Yep.
There you go.
it's very
And-
soft.
Yeah. I didn't actually touch its fur.
It's a good plan.
I didn't
didn't
know
gently
like if
pet
it
the
was
dying animal? Okay.
sick or I
That's
I
probably for
scooped
the
up in a
best.
plastic bag.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, shrews are an animal where many people know the name of them, especially since
Mhm.
it's made its way into our common language as a fairly misogynistic
Unfortunately.
put down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But most people know very little about shrews, except that
Oh, they're
maybe
so cool.
they're small and somehow similar to a mouse is what people think.
They're a mammal.
They are not. They are not mice. They're not even rodents. They are in the same order as moles and hedgehogs, and are actually more closely related to dogs, cats, horses, and cows than they are to mice.
Oh,
according
wow.
to DNA
That's cool.
analysis. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They are found in temperate and tropical areas all over the major land masses of the world, except for Australia, New Zealand, and Papua New Guinea. On the other side of that
Makes sense.
that line that I did a whole episode about that I'm not forgetting the name of the line.
Was it Wallace's line?
The Wallace line.
Wallace's line, thank you. Yes. So the ones found here in Minnesota are, as I mentioned, the most common one is the northern short-tailed shrew, which is Blarina brevicauda. And if my semi-existent Latin serves me, I think that species name means short tail.
Gotcha.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So it is about the size of a mouse, which means it's fairly large for a shrew. The largest shrew in the world is the Asian house shrew, which grows to about 15 centimeters or 6 inches long. The
Wow.
That
smallest
is
shrew in the
large.
world, yeah. You wouldn't think of that as being shrew size, but the smallest shrew in the world is the absolutely minuscule Etruscan shrew, which is only 3.5 centimeters long and weighs
Oh my gosh.
1.8 grams. That's
Whoa.
That's
1
tiny.
8/10 of a paper clip.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
geez.
A
Yeah.
jumbo paperclip. Yeah.
That is
That is
also
so
the
small.
smallest mammal in the world. This is digging pretty deep, but I did mention Etruscan shrews some time ago on the show when I was talking about the ants that shrink and regrow their brains, because
Oh,
Etruscan
yeah.
shrews
Yeah.
also do that.
Right.
They don't have enough
Yeah.
body to do anything else. Woof.
Right. So shrews are carnivores, unlike mice, and they mainly eat
Uh-huh.
insects and other invertebrates, although they can also sometimes eat larger prey, including small mammals and snakes.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they can do that is they are indeed quite fierce, but shrews, some shrews are also venomous.
Yeah.
I was wondering when you were going to get to that.
Yes,
Yeah.
including the
awesome.
one I found, the northern short-tailed shrew.
Yeah.
One of the
Yeah.
few
So
venomous
cool.
mammals. We've, I guess it's not too surprising that we've already mentioned most of the venomous mammals on this show.
Yeah.
Right.
Platypuses.
Because they're weird.
Yep, slow lorises, arguably vampire bats. And then there are some others where like they eat something and it sort of makes them venomous. But
Mhm.
the ones I
Sure,
just
yeah.
mentioned are the ones that produce the venom themselves.
So
And
cool.
the other venomous mammals that we haven't mentioned are all related to shrews. Moles and a kind of creature called a solenodon.
What a name.
Yeah. So,
Right?
yeah.
Sounds like a
Sounds
dinosaur.
prehistoric, but they're living creatures currently living. So shrews do not have fangs that inject venom the way some snakes do, or even grooved teeth the way some snakes do to inject venom.
Mm-hmm.
They basically get it into their prey by chewing on them.
Oh,
It's
man.
fairly grim.
Let me hold on. Let me
Uh,
gnaw on you for a minute.
Yeah.
nom 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 nom.
One other important thing to know about shrews is that they are voracious. As a very small carnivore, mammalian carnivore, they have an incredibly high metabolism.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to eat at least every few hours and consume at least their body weight in food every day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. If they don't eat very frequently, they will die. And I will say, earlier in the day, I had heard a disturbing scrabbling sound in the walls of my house, which I figured was a
Okay.
mouse stuck somewhere.
Uh-huh.
But in retrospect, it was probably this poor shrew that had somehow gotten lost. This is how I'm reconstructing it. of course, it could have gotten poisoned or been sick for some other reason. But what I think happened is it got in there somewhere. Maybe it was chasing, a house centipede or who knows what.
Mhm.
And it got stuck. And finally, it made its way out onto our basement floor. But by that point, it was so exhausted and hadn't had enough food that it just died.
Yeah.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Oof.
Anyway, there is some thought that the venom may be helpful for this because the venom can be used either to kill or to paralyze. And so if they paralyze their prey, they can cache it for later.
Oh.
Particularly useful in cold climates.
Oh, wow. So keep it
Yeah.
fresh.
Okay.
Yes, they can keep it fresh. So apparently,
Dark.
for example, a paralyzed mealworm can stay fresh for up to 15 days.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Bet you didn't know that. Yeah. Keeps
I
2
did
weeks in
not
the
know
fridge.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and as an animal with a very fast metabolism, shrews only live up to about 2 years, which is not super surprising.
Okay.
Live
Yeah.
fast, die young.
Oh, their heart rate is insane. So yeah.
Yeah. Interestingly, in addition to being venomous, they also have a very unpleasant musk that apparently tastes quite nasty to mammalian predators, although birds and snakes will happily eat them with no problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's lots more that's very interesting about shrews, but maybe I'll have to
Hard to
save it
top
for another
being venomous.
episode. Yes.
Mhm.
My main sources this week were the National Park Service and Wikipedia. And I just, once I found a shrew in the basement, my husband didn't want to hear any more about it, even though it wasn't a mouse. And he's like, I
So
think you found your
tell
next
us.
podcast topic. And I said, yes, I have.
Yay!
So I'm
Yes,
telling all
indeed
of you
have.
about it instead of him.
Thank you, Victoria. This is really fascinating.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, it's going to be Kirk.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Rachel and Victoria. I know you're probably expecting me to come this week with a story, but instead, I have a little surprise for you.
Ooh.
You are
Goody.
both now non-consensual contestants on my new game, Weird Ways to Die.
Great.
Woo!
Excellent.
Just what I
I-
wanted.
In this game,
Love it.
I have a series of questions where I'm going to pair up two statistically unlikely ways that nature will kill you.
Okay.
And you have to
Is this
decide
like-
which one is more likely to happen.
Is
Okay.
this the Strange by Nature version almost of the Trail to Oregon? Because I will say I die every single time in that game.
Oh, you're talking about the Oregon Trail?
Yeah.
Oregon Trail.
Oh,
It's a
like
board game
dysentery
now.
or yeah. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah,
Oh,
that
my,
makes
my
sense.
wife worked on one of the versions of the computer game.
That's
pretty
cool.
awesome.
Chelsea's already amazing.
She's pretty cool.
Legendary.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Round
Yes.
one. Are you more likely to die by a goat or lightning in the United States?
A goat.
Oh,
I'm going goat. There's more goats in the world. More
I don't
goats
know.
in North America.
There's a lot of lightning too, though.
There is a lot of lightning, but I say goat. I think it's more likely because people don't pay attention and there's diseases and things like that. And there's like goat meat
Okay.
and lamb and things
They-
like that.
were we talking about?
Interesting.
So, Kirk,
I'm
to
talking about a
clarify,
living goat, like
A living
attacking
goat.
someone and killing
Okay.
them.
I'm still
I
going
mean,
goat.
goats can be pretty aggressive. I mean, I'm just gonna, since Rachel's saying goat, I'm just gonna be contrary and say lightning.
Mm.
'Cause-
Well, sometimes it pays off to be contrarian because while goats can, be aggressive, and I did find one statistic saying that annually 6,000 people are attacked and injured by goats in the U.S. That statistic is all over the place on the web. I couldn't find an original source for that. Death by goat is quite rare.
That's
Every
fair.
once in a while, like there's a story about like a mountain goat might charge someone and kind of knock them off a mountain or something. It has happened before. However, about 20 people die by lightning every year in the U.S.
yeah.
So lightning, way more dangerous than goats. So 1 point to Victoria there.
All right.
Moving on to round two.
Okay.
I so love this question. In the year 2021, specifically, Were you more likely to be killed by striking a duck with your face while jet skiing or by being gored by a Yellowstone bison?
Oh.
I think it was. I think it's gored by a Yellowstone bison because I feel like it happened a couple times in 2021. I vaguely remember hearing more about that.
Okay.
But
How
also, that
many
is a
people are
specific.
Wow, struck in the face by a duck while water skiing.
Jet skiing.
While jet skiing.
Jet skiing.
You're on a jet
Fatally-
ski and
Okay.
Fatally
the
striking a duck
flying?
with your face. A flying, well, it's got to be if it's going to hit your
I
face.
mean,
I
or
guess.
else it gets
Or got thrown up into your
thrown
face.
up by the
Uh-huh.
jet ski. So
Traumatic for the duck.
I have a hard
Duck
time.
on face death.
I have a hard time imagining that more than one person per year is killed by a duck.
That's it's
to the
such
head
a
while jet skiing.
specific
I'm so
scenario.
sorry I'm laughing about that.
It's so specific, Kirk.
I gotta say
It
the
is.
bison.
Yeah.
Bison.
They both saying bison.
Yeah.
Weirdly, the answer is the duck.
What?
Okay.
So
Hold
about
on.
one
The
and a half
duck.
people per year are gored by bison at Yellowstone, but not to death. These are mostly stupid tourists trying to get selfies or pet them. But while being gored is awful, only 2 people have died from it since 1972.
Okay.
And I think statistically, I think overall, indeed, you're correct. You're much more likely to die from bison than duck to the face. However, that was not the case in the year 2001.
Oh man.
All right, round 3. From 1979 to 1990, were you more likely to die by being attacked by a dog or a wasp/bee?
1979 to 1990.
Correct.
That's the time range.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
When did rabies vaccines become widespread?
interesting.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm still gonna go.
In some places, probably still aren't.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
Or is this worldwide or in the U.S.?
This is in the U.S. Good question.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with. I've been wrong every other time, so I'm gonna go with the dog.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna go with the wasp or bee because those are very dangerous animals.
Mm-hmm.
The answer is the Hymenoptera, the bee or wasp. In this time period, there was 186 deaths from dogs,
Wow.
but 527 from bees and wasps.
Dang.
Now, I was thinking, okay,
I'm
hold on.
terrible
This
at
is
this
before EpiPens were widely available. So would more recent data actually, change that?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
And the answer is no.
Yeah.
The most current numbers I could find from the CDC, which was from 2011 to 2021, there was a total of 788 deaths from hornets, wasps, and bee stings in the U.S., which averaged out to 72 deaths per year, whereas current annual deaths by dogs in the U.S. is somewhere between 30 and 50. So still to this day, way more people dying from bees and wasps
Yes.
and hornets than from dogs. So
I'm
very interesting.
terrible at
Although-
this game.
Although the number probably hasn't gone up on like a per 100,000 population.
Probably not.
basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the population has gotten much larger. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, for round 4, all 3 of us, even though we live some distance from each other, we all live in the number 1 least geologically active state in all of the United States.
That's right.
It
Woohoo.
is-
That's what I like about
Yeah,
it.
it is. Exactly. It is cold here in winter, but we often console ourselves by saying things like, well, at least we don't have earthquakes.
There's
My son is fond of pointing out.
Uh-huh. Oh, there's like a little
Yeah,
sound or
but-
whatever. At least there's no earthquakes, there's no alligators, there's no hurricanes.
Yeah.
Right.
But whenever I mention stuff like that, my high school age son will always say, well, we still have tornadoes. And that is fair.
Yeah.
Well, is it a fair point, though? Statistically speaking, which are you more likely to die from in the U.S., a tornado or an earthquake?
Oh.
Mm.
Okay. So really destructive earthquakes don't happen very often. But when they do, they can kill a lot of people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also
Whereas
the
tornadoes-
idea, even like the lower one, like lower level ones, like you can still get into car accidents and things like that because of it.
Sure, but not that many people are dying each year because of that kind of earthquake.
Mm-hmm.
But so if we're doing sort of an annualized earthquake death thing, you have to spread out those big earthquake deaths over quite a few years if we're talking about on average, right?
Mm.
This is tricky, yeah.
Yes,
Is
but
just in the
then
US?
I'm looking at sort of a 30 over a let's say over a 30-year period.
over a
Okay.
30-year period. I say tornadoes.
I'll go earthquakes.
Rachel, you are going for the clean sweep here. It is tempting to think the answer. I can see it's tempting to think the answer is going to be earthquakes, right?
Yeah,
We
but
hear
it's
horrific
tornadoes.
stories about like thousands of people dying from earthquakes, right? I mean, there's some in the news just this year, like just horrible. However, in the United States, we have very stringent building codes,
Mm-hmm.
and those building codes save people's lives.
Yep.
Our buildings are much less likely to be damaged in earthquakes. Also, while there are many, many dangerous tornadoes every single year, massive earthquakes just aren't an annual thing. Most earthquakes are, just a little shaking or a little, cracking of some plaster and everybody's fine.
Just what
In
I
the
was saying.
30-year period that was studied, by the USGS and by NOAA, there were on average 27 tornado deaths every single year. And that was more than all of the earthquake deaths combined for the whole 30-year period that was being studied. Now, tornadoes are undoubtedly far more dangerous than earthquakes in general. I will say that the 1989 San Francisco earthquake, which must not have been in that 30-year period, did kill 63 people, which is more than 27. But if you average it out over, say, a person's lifetime, or even just over that 30-year period, like we were talking about, tornadoes are far, far more deadly.
Yeah.
So, round 5. All right, now
All right,
we're
I
going
gotta
back
get
to
on the
2021
board
again.
here.
Get on the board here, Rachel. I guess 2021 was a big year for strange deaths. Tell me, which happened more that year in 2021? People dying from failure to fart fast enough, or people dying by being attacked by koalas?
I hate that
Failure.
these are.
What?
This means that at least one
What does that
person
even
died
mean?
from each of these problems. At least one person has died because it's here.
Maybe I made them all up, Rachel. Who knows?
I
What
don't.
does it mean, failure to fart fast enough?
You have to
hold it
pass
in.
gas, and you just didn't. Yeah, dying from not farting. Now, listeners,
I'm gonna
as,
let you
as
choose
Victoria
first,
is
Rachel.
thinking
I know
hard,
you're gonna go the opposite.
she is
That's
a
fair.
nursing student currently, so she's going through all of her, nursing knowledge, trying to figure, can you die from not farting?
This is exactly what's going through my brain.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And what would the mechanism be for that?
God, oh man. I have to go koalas, right? People think they're cuddly. They're not.
Okay.
Sure. Given. However, I can certainly imagine many people being injured by koalas. I can't imagine that many people being killed by koalas. I am going to go with the farting because, your intestinal system blocks up. A lot of bad things can happen.
Kirk, how bad am I doing?
Farts for me.
So farts for Victoria, koalas for Rachel. Rachel, you are continuing the streak here. But look, both of these are super unlikely. First of all, death from flatulence, or rather, the lack of it, isn't something like that Victoria is likely to come across in her nursing courses, I'm sure. And koalas, while Australians like to joke about them secretly being vicious animals
Little
called
drop
drop bears that will drop out of trees and gnaw your face off, they're actually incredibly docile creatures. So which one of these actually happened in 2021? Well, doctors in China reported the death of a man after he drank 1.5 liters of Coca-Cola in 10 minutes.
Whoa.
He obviously became bloated with excess carbonation, and he should have been able to pass that off as just flatulence, but for some reason, they don't quite understand, he was unable to, and the high pressure in his intestines led to gas in his portal vein, which is what caused his death.
Wow.
Now,
that was not the mechanism I was thinking about.
Nope.
No, and that's why this was written up in a journal article, because it was so bizarre. I completely made up the thing about the koalas. Now, I will say, full disclosure here, I originally saw the story about the man who failed to fart and died in Forbes, but it was also picked up widely in the media. Like, lots of people reported on this. I wanted to read the original medical paper, but when I went to the site, I found that it had been temporarily withdrawn. And this was many, like 2 or 3 years ago. Like 2 years ago. And so I kind of looked into what does that mean? And it's a withdrawal is not the same as a retraction. Some of the authors temporarily chose to withdraw their paper, and there isn't any reason listed. Sometimes it could just be like, oops, that got published too soon. We want to present it at a conference and we're supposed to present it there first. Maybe there was they wanted, someone's name was misprinted. Like, there's many reasons something could be temporarily withdrawn. So I don't know why it was, and it has not been republished. And I will give hats off to IFL Science. They were the only source I saw online that noted in the reporting, hey, update, by the way, this paper has been withdrawn. So kind of curious there.
Yeah.
Final round. Are you ready?
I
Rachel,
gotta be on the
this is your
board.
chance.
I mean,
This
if
is your
I am
chance.
wrong every single time, that's almost funnier. It's 50-50.
Amazing.
This is amazingly bad at this game. I'm awful at this. Okay.
Again, in the United States,
Okay.
are you more likely to be crushed by a falling tree or die from falling out of your own bed? Now, this one is tricky. Everybody has a bed, and not everyone is around trees. But then again, a bed is like 2 feet off the ground, while
Not
trees are
always.
massive and can easily crush you.
I
Okay,
work in a
question.
place with bunk beds and things.
Yeah. Sure. So you gotta choose.
Do you have to die pretty immediately after you fall out of bed, or like you die as consequences of your injuries sometime later after falling out of bed?
That's a great question. I believe this was pulled from CDC data, and so this would be probably like things that were written on people's death certificates and things like that. Like, I imagine it could include complications from falling out of bed, as long as it was like something that
What
it's
a
not like
thing.
years later.
What a thing to have on
But
your
this is what
death
precipitated it.
certificate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fell
Fell out of bed.
That's terrible.
Well, Rachel,
Rough.
do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first? I mean, you can.
No pressure, Rachel.
You can just say what I say if you really want to get up on the board. I've had a pretty good record so far.
Wow. So much confidence out of Victoria. The smack talk is off the charts here this week.
Oh, that was
I
solid
mean,
shade,
just going on
Victoria.
our
I
records.
so hope Victoria is wrong on this one.
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
You did get one wrong earlier.
Especially if Rachel
we both
does
got
agree
that
with her,
one
that'd be really funny.
Mm-hmm.
I did say bison and not ducks to the face.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it was ducks to the face on a jet ski.
All right.
Right.
I'm staking my claim. I'm choosing falling out of bed.
My gut
Okay.
says tree. People, usually there's like chainsaws involved.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going with
Okay,
trees.
so we're splitting again.
We're going to do it again.
Well, here we go.
Please.
Here's the answer.
Please.
We talk about trees falling. Trees are on the rise. The U.S. has been busy growing back forests. The U.S. now has 8% of total forests in the world, and reached a point in 1997 where growth exceeded harvest by 42%.
Wow.
And we were growing forests at a rate of roughly 4 times faster than we were in the 1920s. All those trees eventually fall and kill an average of 100 people in the U.S. per year. Rachel, is that enough?
I don't
that enough?
know. I'm in suspense here, Kirk.
According to the CDC, beds are responsible for 1.8 million
My God.
emergency room visits.
Wait,
And
emergency
over
room visits.
Over 400,000 hospital admissions every year. As you might have guessed, the elderly are the largest population getting hurt falling out of bed. And annually, there are 450 deaths from bed falls in the U.S. Rachel, that's a clean sweep for you of the losses.
What are the odds that I got every single one wrong?
For this one. My nursing training, I spend a lot of time talking about the side effects of drugs, and if you've got one that's making you feel dizzy or giving you low blood pressure, you got to be really careful with the patient, keeping them in bed. Don't let them get up out of bed. Don't let them go to the bathroom by themselves, because bad things can happen. They fall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll just say, I'll end this little segment by saying it's best, I guess, just to sleep in the woods, just to be safe.
Yeah.
Just don't bring a bed with you into the woods.
Right.
Camping.
Also, don't sleep in the woods when there's lightning, or a tornado, or a place where ducks might
fly into your
hit
face.
you in the face.
Don't go jet skiing.
Yep, and you should be fine. Look, I got the stuff from lots of places, sources this week. The Guardian, the Centers for Disease Control, the Journal Wilderness and Environmental Medicine, National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, the U.S. Geological Survey, OSHA, and the Environmentor.
I gotta recover.
Awesome. Thanks. That was really fun.
Kirk. I gotta recover.
Well, let's take a quick break and see if Rachel can recover from her abject failure to understand weird ways you can die, and she can try to redeem herself in the third half of the show.
The third half of the show. Okay.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, the answer to what's on everyone's mind, no, I'm not over my abject failure, my true devastating loss.
You were consistent.
Very consistent.
Wow. Anyway, that being said, Victoria, though you absolutely trounced me in the fun game of how could you die, you actually brought up something with your story about the shrew.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a little nervous when you started talking.
Okay.
You did not cover my topic, I will say that. But
good.
Going into this week, I thought that because if you didn't know, this is episode 150, which is very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about...
Thanks for being along on the journey, everybody.
Oh, amazing.
Yes.
I wanted to talk about a relative of our logo. So on our Strange by Nature, we have a strange creature on our logo. I'm going to talk about a relative that we haven't talked about. 150 episodes in. Let's talk about the Echidnas.
Yeah. Platypus cousins.
Let's do
Platypus
that.
cousins. So on the planet Earth, there are 5 species of monotreme. Monotreme are the most ancient...
Are weird.
They're so bizarre. They are the most ancient order group of sorts of mammals. So the mammals are divided into 3 different groups. They are the placental mammals, which is most creatures. So like manatees, whales, humans, chimpanzees, dogs, cats, all of those. Shrews.
Yeah.
Then there are the marsupials, which include anything with a pouch. They give live birth and they go into a pouch and they stay in that little pouch for a long time. So those are like the kangaroos, the koalas, the wombats,
Opossums,
possums, just all of those creatures, marsupials. Monotremes. So there are 5 species, like I said. There's one that is the platypus, which we talked about already, but there are 4 species of echidna. And, monotremes in general are already bizarre because they are egg-laying mammals. So they don't have live birth. They lay an egg.
So weird.
Which is already bizarre. And they don't...
Breaks my brain.
They do produce milk, but they don't have like teats or anything. They sweat the milk in like a patch.
So kind of gross.
Which is gross. and just like, sure.
Yeah, a milk patch.
But we haven't talked about echidnas, and we have to talk about echidnas. So they are sometimes called spiny anteaters, and I was looking at pictures of echidnas, and they look very similar to hedgehogs, which you mentioned
They sure
earlier.
do.
They look a lot
They
like
really do.
hedgehogs. They are not
Convergent
hedgehogs.
evolution right there.
Oh yeah. So to describe an echidna, they look. How do you describe this? Picture a hedgehog with a really small face, a really long snout, which is sometimes called a beaked. So a beak, like a bird. Sometimes that's actually in a lot of their names, like a short-beaked echidna or long-beaked echidna. One of the species is Sir David's echidna. Yes, for David Attenborough. Zaglossius attenboroughi is the Latin name.
Nice.
Beautiful. They have all of these spines covering their entire body. They have 4 feet with claws. They're all endangered species. They're located in Australia, New Zealand, and Papua New Guinea. And they look like spiny anteaters, pretty much. And they do actually eat ants. They eat insects and ants, and they dig up all kinds of insects like that.
Nice.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. So you see all of those spines, right? Those are all individual hairs, and they are hollow little spines. They don't necessarily hugely protect the echidna. They're there to deter. They do call them barbless quills on their back and sides, and it's less fur, and those are all just hollow spines. So they are truly just one piece of fur. And
Really?
that, I don't know why that bothers me, but it does for some reason.
They don't seem like they would be hairs.
Right? Those are hair. That's part of, that is a fur.
Wow.
That is not.
That's sort of what porcupine quills are, aren't they? Basically the same idea, isn't it?
I guess. So one of the things too, with an echidna, they have really small eyes. They don't really use their eyesight all that much, but they do use their sense of smell, and they have a really, really good sense of hearing. You can't see their ears, however, because they don't have external ear flaps. Behind their eyes, there's vertical slits, and those are their ears.
Oh.
Huh.
Which is already,
Okay.
that's bizarre on itself. They use their sense of hearing and they use their sense of smell to be able to track down various prey, because they do actually dig into the dirt. They use all 4 of their limbs to scratch out dirt and try to get food out and be able to they use their really long tongue that is covered in saliva to lick up any insects or any ants or anything that they can catch, which is really cool.
Wow.
That being said, their feet, they have an extra long claw on their back legs, because their back legs, I mentioned that they use all 4 of them. Their hind legs actually face backwards.
Oh, what?
Okay,
So
sure.
the toes face towards their butt.
Okay.
And they have an extra
Wow.
long claw on that toe that is used to like scratch out any dirt or anything that are in the spines. But it digs with its front feet straight down, and then the back are able to, because they're facing the other way, are also able to dig out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is wild. And it's really helpful, obviously, if they're getting termites or anything like that. It also helps them dig in for like protection with fires or drought. They are able to like dig into the dirt and be able to like protect themselves, which is great.
Nice.
That being said, like I've been talking a lot about like their digging ability. They can climb, and they are great at swimming.
Oh.
which feels
Like the
Cool.
triathlete of the monotreme
Yeah.
world.
truly, it can do anything that it wants to. It can climb, and it's actually a decent climber too. Like we talked about with porcupines, that they are not the best at climbing, or at least getting down. But
Not getting down. Yeah.
yeah. But
They're right at getting up.
they're fine at it. But the echidnas are able to swim and are able to like run around. They don't have teeth, so they use their really long sticky tongue in order to get any of their food. Their tongue is 6 inches or 15 centimeters long,
Wow.
which is
And that's for a pretty small animal.
that is a pretty
right?
it is
Yeah.
for pretty small. You're right. I haven't said the size of an echidna. Echidnas are generally about like hedgehog size. They are not a very large creature in the first place.
Right.
They are like, the males are larger than the females at 13 pounds. So they're not bad in weight size. But generally they're not very large. One last thing about echidnas. There's a lot of
I hope it's my favorite fact, Rachel.
I think it might be, Kirk. So
Okay.
they are, like I said, they live and they lay eggs. That is how they reproduce. The males, so they mate with each other, and then the female will lay the eggs 22 days after mating into her own little pouch. So males and females both have little pouches. So they lay eggs, and then the eggs stay in a little pouch on their body, and they
Okay.
just like hang out with them and grow and develop until they're called little puggles, until the little puggles are old enough
Oh.
and are about 7 months old. That's really cute, right? Adorable.
Yeah.
That is super cute.
I'm going to be blunt here. Male echidnas have a 4-headed penis.
That was not what I was thinking of, but
Okay.
okay.
Oh, it was not? Oh, well,
no.
I didn't know how
wow.
else to get into that.
How did you bury the lead on that one, Rachel?
Well, so they have a 4-headed penis, so it's kind of like a little star, and during mating they'll insert it into the cloaca of the female, and whatever one gets to the right tract, I guess.
Oh.
And the rest of them are shut down. It's gross, but it was like, I'm sorry, what?
Okay, that's weird.
It's very weird. It's so weird.
A lot weirder than
And
what I was going to
way
say.
longer than it should be. It's like almost 3
Oh.
inches. Yeah. So breeding season, that being said, like breeding season is like June through September, and females will be followed by like a little train of males just to
Just
mate
multiply that
with
number
her.
by 4. And
Yeah. Just, yeah.
Well, okay, Kirk. Now
Well,
we
my-
have to know what
Yeah,
your
what was
fact
yours?
is.
I guess what
Fun
I was
fact.
just going to say is that echidnas can't sweat. So one of the ways
yeah.
they cool off is by blowing snot bubbles.
Oh, that's
Oh.
really cute. I didn't come
See,
across
that's
that.
a cute
That's
cleansing
cute.
cleansing image after your hydra-headed penis that you decided to end this week's show with.
I just Googled
Yeah.
the penis. That's,
Oh, I'm not going to Google that. No,
Why?
I'm good.
No,
I'm good.
No, I'm not going to either.
Oh.
Overall,
But you at home can.
Yeah, you at home. So they're medium-sized little
Maybe
critters.
not on your
They're
work
fun.
computer.
No, I wouldn't do it on their work computer. But they're really precious little monotremes, and they actually live much longer than I expected them to. They can live up to like 20 years, which is pretty
Wow,
decent
cool.
for a small little critter, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
better than a shrew.
Yeah, it's better than a shrew.
Yeah.
So it was wild. The echidna is one of the oldest surviving species on the mammalian species, I should say, on the planet, which is very exciting. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Very cool.
Thanks for leaving us with that really cute fact, Kirk. That's all I have
my
for us
pleasure.
this week. So,
Awesome.
yeah, thanks everyone for listening. See you next
Thanks
week.
for being there for 150 episodes.
Yeah.
Onward.
Wow. Can't believe
150.
it's 150. That's
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
I know, right?
Oof. All right. See you all next
All
week,
right.
everybody. Bye.
See you next time.
Right. Bye-bye.
Thanks everyone for listening to today's show. Be sure to subscribe. New episodes drop every Wednesday, and we love sharing this strange world with all of our listeners. If you would be so kind as to leave us a 5-star review, that would be great. It lets other lovers of the strange discover the show. You can reach out to us on social media by searching for Strange by Nature Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can send us an email as well. Our address is contact@strangebynaturepodcast.com. If you want more information about the show, you can also check out our website, which is strangebynaturepodcast.com. Until next week, get outside, stay curious, and embrace the strange.